This is exactly what we need. Young people standing up for what they believe in. And you know what? I'm gonna hug you right now because you are actually our hope. You are the one that is giving us all hope. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and there you have it. Is that man, that young courageous man, is fighting against the gender ideology, the bullshit that they're trying to feed us and everyone else. I hate to say it, but it seems that this is what is happening here. And of course, this is Ontario, Canada, probably honestly, a terrible state or a terrible country, not state, terrible country that has their dictator Justin Trudeau. So yeah, you're gonna see what we're kind of getting into here. Now, what you're going to see could very easily happen in the U.S. You don't believe me? Well, just wait and give it time, and then you'll see that it easily will happen into the U.S. And if we don't fight back now, then well, guess what? I guess we're just gonna be suffering the consequences then, huh? Because of cowardice. Take a look at this clip of him, well, getting arrested.
Yes! Yes! Federal police budget just balanced itself. I don't even know.
Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
Thank you. Just a little bit back. Thank you. Thank you.
So there you have it. He's getting arrested for standing up for what he believed in. Of course, it's not the United States, so that's a bit hard, so that's a little bit harder to do in Canada. But I'll put it this way: we have cowards in this country, and these cowards seem to be completely and utterly useless in almost every regard. If we don't stand up and fight to what we believe in, this is exactly what will happen to you guys. You'll be the ones dragged out of your homes. You'll be the ones dragged out of your jobs. You'll be the ones dragged out of your anything that you're doing. You'll have your own kids arrested, bullied, etc. because you didn't fight for them. Your cowardice showed that you are not really an American because, well, in all reality, you have simply decided to cower in fear to the woke mob. And then you get results like this. We have to fight back, people. Because if we don't fight back, then we have a serious issue. Here is another clip of explaining exactly what happened to him, and then after that I'll go into depth onto more of the reasons why we need to fight back, because it's becoming this big of an issue in Canada, and if you think it won't happen here, then I think you're sadly mistaken. Take a look.
The issue basically started when I moved to the Catholic board. I used to be in the public board, and very quickly I was informed by female students that male students were using the female washrooms. This is an issue that came up in a class debate, and I used that platform to share my opinions, as every other student had the opportunity to do. And I quoted some scripture. I said that there's only two genders, and apparently, because there was transgender students in those classes, that was considered bullying. And I went beyond the classroom, and I took it to the office, and I said, okay, this is an issue. There's female students that are uncomfortable. Something needs to be done. And I was ignored. A female student made the same complaint I did, and they ignored her as well. So at that point, I decided to organize a protest outside of my school. And 2 days before the protest, they suspended me indefinitely. And then they permanently banned me from 2 of my classes. And when I attended those classes, they suspended me again and then excluded me twice. And at the end of the semester, on the first day of the new semester, I decided to return to school and try to recover my credits and actually get an education. And yeah, they arrested me.
That is unbelievable. You know, it's important for us to note, though, we did reach out to the school to get their side. However, they actually declined to comment on this matter. That said, we know that your lawyer says, and we mentioned the school is accusing you of bullying transgender students. What do you say to that?
Well, my issue was never with the individual student, and I made that very clear with both on my social media in person and on my media responses. My issue wasn't with the individual student. I have an issue with a system that is going to encourage this form of misbehavior, and I do sympathize with the confused transgender students because they've been wronged by their parents and by society and by the education system that has pushed this indoctrination on them. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm going to condone their wrongful behavior, especially when it's a violation of my female peers' privacy. So I'll continue to stand up.
Yeah, and also, the school that you go to is Catholic, but transgender ideology is not in line with Catholic teaching. I'm curious, did anybody at the school ever talk about this or teach this in class?
Oh, the gender ideology that gets pushed by the Catholic board is incredible. I had teachers telling me and the entire classroom that male breastfeeding is okay and it's normal and it's natural. And actually, one of the allegations that's being held against me until this day is that I said male breastfeeding is pedophilia. So that kind of shows you where the Catholic board's at right now.
Josh, I'm curious, how has this all impacted you? I mean, at the end of the day, you're still a 16-year-old boy, and none of this can be easy on you. And what's happening with your education?
Well, as of right now, I don't really have much of an education. They've offered me some online stuff, but I was actually the organizer of the student walkouts across Canada during the Freedom Convoy against the online learning and against the mask mandates and all that. So I'm certainly not going to accept this form of inferior education. So I demand to be in person in class because all I've done is exercise my freedom of expression. But I mean, I get a lot of hate messages and there's a lot of people that hate me, but at the same time, I don't really care. I did what I believe is right and what's right before God. So at the end of the day, I'm happy.
So there you have it. After all that reasoning and all that talk that he has done and the story that he has told, I think you guys can maybe now realize that it could easily very happen here. We see how powerful the transgender community is currently right now, to where they're pushing all this BS onto other people, forcing them to say what they want us to say. And if you honestly think they're not going to come here, then they're not going to do this type of level of stuff, then you're sadly mistaken. We have to fight for our ability. We have to fight for our children. I understand that some people's positions they're not able to because they have to put food on the table for their children in order for them to survive. But here's the thing. If you are putting your children into public schools, you're damaging them. So you may try to put your kid into a public school, but again, if they're being indoctrinated, they're automatically going to be into this form to where they're not going to be your child anymore. They turn into something else. You have to either take your kid out of public school, and you have to pretty much make sure you homeschool your children along with fighting back. Because here's the thing, guys. If we do not fight back, we're going to have this problem. We're going to have the exact problem to where you'll see your kids arrested for things that maybe saying something they don't believe in or what have you. And then, of course, your own children, your girls for this matter, in this specific case, are going to be in trouble. They are the ones that are going to be violated. And unfortunately for that school, for this, in quotation marks, Catholic school, is, quite honestly, is sacrificing your girls for this. I wonder how many sexual assaults are going to happen in the girls' bathroom until something like this, until they have to address this, right? I think that once this all starts happening, because we are seeing that the assaults are going to probably most likely skyrocket at that school at some point or the other, and the girls are addressing their opinions, and the girls are not being listened to. They're being ignored. Their safety is not high on their list. So, therefore, guess who's suffering for this? Yes, the women. The women are suffering for this. And by the way, women did this to themselves as well, considering the fact that they kept on voting for this bullshit. So, I don't know, see how I can feel. I feel bad for the younger women, because the younger women, the kids for that matter, are the ones that are suffering for this. The kids are being indoctrinated against, they're being influenced, they're being, something that is not entirely in their control. They look up to adults and to their parents as figures to direct them in the way of life. That is the way that's the way they kind of grow up to be the people that they are. And they're being lied to in every way possible. So when you have this, it's not their fault. It's the parents' fault. It's the adults' fault. You people not rising up and going against it. I don't care if somebody makes a YouTube channel and they end up being way bigger than me in a short period of time. I really don't care. The more that this stuff gets put out, the more that we fight against it, the better. Because we need to fight against it. For the sake of the children. And the only reason why this is happening is because a huge swath of females are voting for this bullshit to happen. So, I mean, it is what it is. Not every female, obviously, so don't get your panties in a bunch, but this is just the reality. And the only way we can fight back is to, and obviously save the children, because this is the problem, is to fight back. Grow a spine, become an actual true American, have courage like this young man, because he is completely destroying you all in every regard of courage. And he's not even American. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care.